Okay, I'm back with another free reading. This one is for a Cancer woman. I'm going to call Nina. So, Nina wrote me back in May saying, I have been in a relationship for over 7 years now, and I think it's time for me to get married and settle down. I don't know why he doesn't want to commit. I would like to know if he will ever commit and if he is the right person for me. His birthday is November 5th, 1982. I went through a miscarriage where I lost our son on February 2nd, 2019, and it was the hardest thing I have ever had to deal with. Well, I'm really sorry that that happened, and I hope you've gained some closure since that, since then. So you continue to write, will I ever be a mom? I would really appreciate it if you choose me for a free reading. I have always watched your YouTube channel and see how honest and amazing you are. Thank you. All right, so you were born July 10th, 1991. That 10 birth number carries the theme of children, so that's very strong. You also got that Leo stellium in your chart, which reinforces the theme of children. You also have 28 as your life path number, and that breaks down to 10 and 1. So again, the children theme is reinforced. So that could deal with serious challenges involving children, also involving men as well. Now, the numbers 10 and 28 will produce a life that is subject to cycles, so cycles of ups and downs. So the fact that you had that miscarriage back in February can be indicative of you being in a down cycle right now. But the good thing about the number 10 and 28, what is down will eventually come up. So this can even be with respect to having children. So let me just get into your chart real quick, because looking at your chart alone before I get into your boyfriend's chart and how it matches up with yours is very important, especially because your sun is conjoined to your Cancer South Node. So that could deal with you having some serious challenges with respect to having children, carrying a pregnancy to full term because Cancer rules the womb. So the fact that you had a miscarriage is very much dealing with the sun being conjoined to your south node. So when it comes to having children, you need to be very careful about taking this step, because you could end up having another miscarriage, especially dealing with your current boyfriend. Now, with your sun being conjoined to your Cancer South Node, or your Cancer South Node, a period, is basically telling you that you really don't need to put a very high priority on creating a family, being a mother, being a wife in this lifetime. If you try to force the issue, you can end up activating some karmic debt that you've incurred from a past life, and you could be dealing with some painful circumstances involving children in particular, because your sun is conjoined to your south node. So again, you want to think long and hard before taking this step into motherhood, because it could be a long, hard road ahead. Now, your north node is conjoined to Neptune, so that basically is pointing to you got some serious lessons to learn in terms of compassion, but also that can deal with some sacrifices that need to be made in this lifetime. It could deal with where you're going to go through some very sorrowful times in your life. So you just got to be ready for that if you decide to embark upon this journey of motherhood. That Capricorn North Node is teaching you how to be more self-sufficient and how to be more focused on the outside world and focused on your career or your professional life in general. And let me just look at your boyfriend real quick. So he has a Capricorn South Node with Mars conjoined to his South Node. So you guys are like operating at cross purposes in terms of your spiritual evolutionary paths. So he has to be more family oriented in this lifetime, but you need to be more about making your mark upon the outside world. So when it comes to your evolutionary path or your mission in life, it's switch. So that could be challenging in and of itself when dealing with a relationship. Now, his Mars is conjoined to his Capricorn South Node, which means that he's bringing over a lot of energy from his past life that deals with him being very headstrong, being very self-determined, and being very solitary. So the fact that he doesn't want to get married makes a lot of sense because of his past life conditioning. Now, he does have his moon conjoined to his North Node in Cancer, but that could deal with where he kind of has his cake and eat it too. Like he's able to be with a woman without fully committing to her in terms of a marriage, relationship, what have you, or, committed relationship. Now, he is a Scorpio with his sun conjoined to Venus, which can deal with him really needing to be in a relationship, but where there's issues with control. So either his partner's going to be controlling him, which would be you, or he's going to be the one in control. So with his Mars being conjoined to his South Node, he is more than likely going to be the one in control. Now you ask me, would he ever commit? And I'm thinking you mean marriage. So I got the Emperor card for the answer, and the Emperor can represent a husband, but in this particular case, I see it dealing exactly with what I was saying with the whole control issue. Like he's going to maintain control at all costs. So the challenge card was temperance. I'm trying to remember the cards because I already pulled them because this is my second time recording this reading. So I'm just trying to remember the cards that were out. The challenge card was temperance, and that is dealing with your need to make a compromise. Or it can deal with your unwillingness to compromise in this area where you want to be married, but he has one foot in the relationship, one foot out. You could look at it that way. And then the outcome was the Nine of Wands. No, yeah, now my memory serves me correctly. So it was a 4-card spread. The first card was the Seven of Cups, and that deals with you being unsure of where, he's headed in terms of this relationship. It can also deal with your wishful thinking. The challenge was the Temperance card, and that deals with your unwillingness to compromise in terms of what you want with marriage, but it can also deal with where he has one foot in the relationship, one foot out. Your advice, Emperor. So again, while that could produce a husband, know that it can also deal with someone who is bent upon wielding control in the relationship, despite how committed they may be, despite how in love they may be, they have a need to maintain control at all costs. So even if he were to settle down and get married to you, know that the relationship could still be very one-sided, where he still is going to do whatever he wants to do regardless of how you feel about it, regardless of what you think or say. But from my perspective, I'm seeing that Emperor card as where that's like, no, he's not the one for you in terms of settling down for a marriage, because your question was, will he ever commit? And that Emperor card is not a card of commitment. It's corresponding to Aries. And then the outcome is the Nine of Wands. That's him holding on, but not fully sealing the deal. That's like where he drives up close to the whole marriage thing, but never, ties the knot. You can also look at that Nine of Wands as you just holding on, waiting in the wings, hoping one day he'll just crack and decide to get married to you. So you also have some challenging aspects in your synastry that points to this situation not turning into a harmonious marriage. So again, if you force the issue of being married to your boyfriend, those aspects in the synastry are going to kick in. Now they've already kicked in, and the ones I'm talking about in particular are his Chiron is squaring your Venus and Mars. So again, if you press the issue about being in this relationship, press the issue about being married, he's liable to resist, not comply, because of that Chiron influence. He also has Neptune opposing your moon. So that could deal with where he has you right where he wants you and where you're not going to go anywhere despite him not giving you what you want. Also, his Mars is opposed to your moon. So that could deal with the relationship being very one-sided after a while, where you're not really getting what you want. In the beginning, that could deal with where he was pursuing you hard. But once he has you, he's like, okay, I'm not going to, I'm only going to give her the bare minimum, especially if it's impacting upon my need to do what I want. Your Saturn is squaring his Mercury, so that's the issue with commitment right there too. Y'all do have, some nice aspects in your synastry that can point to longevity, can point to the ability to live together harmoniously for the most part. But like I said, you really need to be willing to compromise in terms of just being with him without being married, without becoming his wife. Now, in the whole compromise thing, you might determine that, you rather be with somebody where he's going to fully commit to you in terms of marriage. But again, like I said, that's not really what you should be focused on in this lifetime anyway. If you try to force the issue in terms of being a wife, you could end up activating some of your karmic debt in that area because the sun is conjoined to your south node. So that deals with karmic challenges involving children, but also karmic challenges involving men, including a husband or a potential husband. So you really want to tread carefully when it comes to getting married, but also when it comes to motherhood. So you ask, will I become a mother? So the cards that I have laid out are the Ace of Cups. That's one of the pregnancy cards. The challenge is the Eight of Cups, and that can be a card that deals with miscarriage. So this could show where you might have more than one miscarriage before you become successful in terms of becoming a mother. The advice card is Ten of Pentacles. So that is showing that you can have a family. You can become a mother. However, it may require some medical intervention because that Ten of Pentacles is a card of health. So you might have to go through some rounds of treatment in order to be able to maintain your pregnancy. You might have to get some special procedure. And then this card can also deal with, you might have to change up your situation in terms of your relationship. So, with your current man, there might be, this whole blockage in terms of you being able to have a child because he's not the one for you long term, even though it's been 7 years. His Neptune is opposed to your moon. So again, that's what I mean. Like, he can have you right where he wants you, where you're not really going anywhere despite you not getting what you want or what you need in that relationship. So 7 years have gone by, there hasn't been no marriage that takes place. So that Ten of Pentacles can say that, if you continue to go through the same routine, because this card can deal with the usual routine, you're liable to not be able to have children like you want because the outcome is the Hermit card. And that Hermit card can deal with where you're alone and where you're searching for a new mate. You're searching for a father to, or you're searching for a man to be the father of your child. The card that comes after that is the King of Cups. So that could deal with where you do find a man that you can have children with. I don't see it being your current boyfriend though. So again, if you force the issue with your current boyfriend, there's a chance that you could end up having another miscarriage, especially with his Mars opposed to your moon. So know that the man's energy combined with your energy can even contribute to situations dealing with a miscarriage. So if he really doesn't want to be a father, that can affect the equilibrium, and next thing you know, you're having another miscarriage. So my advice to you is to really think long and hard about what you really want out of life. If you're happy with your man, then you have to be willing to compromise and say, okay, I'm willing to be with him without going fully into that whole marriage thing, because that is not what he wants. So that's what relationships are all about, compromising. But if you really are dead set upon having a child, having that traditional marriage, then you're going to have to look elsewhere. So if you have any questions, you can send me an email or you could post a comment in the comment section. And if anyone would like a chance for a free reading in the upcoming months, you can send me an email, write free reading on the subject line, include your birth information, and write a detailed question. If you would like an in-depth reading now, you could go to my website at rabina.com. Peace, many blessings, and I'll be back with some more videos.